Well, on a more quiet note then, Rangers went to Dublin for a quiet European tie against Bohemians. Any memories of that?
Unbelievable. I was on the bench, young boy, just breaking into the team, and the gaffer thought it was not a bad idea not to be involved that night. I remember sitting on the bench, actually with an ITN reporter who actually is quite funny, so I read the news now on ITV at night. A nice big lad called Matt Austin, and that was his first assignment. Right, I know you're laughing, and he says, what's this game all about, what's his club's all about here? And I take, can you give him a wee bit of background? And before you know it, the game was getting stopped, there was getting policemen pulled into the end, both ends. Obviously we went on to loss the game 3-2, which was a massive loss for us. But the hard thing was actually getting out the ground at night, because picture the scene, the Rangers bus drawn away for Bohemians at night, and every window was getting panned in, and we were under every seat. But no Big Wallace was sitting down there right hand the driver. We had a few choice words to the ones that were obviously panning the windows in. The wee driver's driving away and Big Joke sitting down at the front like that, and under the seats. That was European football.
Brilliant. And when you're saying that about Wallace, I read something recently, I can't remember, it was an article, or else it was one of the ex-players I was speaking to, when he mentioned the fact that the press used to go on the bus. Big Jock's attitude in the days was, we'll put the tape on, we'll put the Rangers tape on, you can listen to the tape, if you don't like it, F off.
Get off. Well, again, talking about police escorts from Ibrox to Parkhead, and one of my first, as a young boy breaking into the team, couldn't believe it, first time I was driving along London Road, and Big Joke taps Jimmy Bell, who was driving at the time, Jim drove the team bus, and the next thing, the old Toys and Mash was getting built out the players' bus, and the players were all sitting tapping their foot. So at the end of the day, we're getting pelters one side for the Celtic fans, and the Rangers fans the other side, and obviously Celtic fans, they've not got a clue what we're listening to on the bus, and we were all just sitting there. It was brilliant. Very changed days, but
without a doubt. And I think the biggest problem I've got nowadays is people are so easily offended, and when you went in it, when you played in the games, and I dare say you'll be friends with a few Celtic players, it was a bit of camaraderie, but what happened on the park was finished on the terrace.
Without a doubt. I used to be probably directly against Tommy Burns. God rest Tommy, he was a fantastic man. Came for East End of Glasgow, loved the Celtic, the same as I'm for Rangers, or Phil Atcall, a Rangers man. Tom's in obviously the opposite side there. But you get to know him, and you get to know it, floats his boat, and we'd have a bit of banter, and he'd begin running by me singing songs. And remember, we talked about the 4 each game, and we're 3-1 down, and Tam scored, and he's doing all his stuff, and he's running by me singing songs, and next thing we're up 4-3, and obviously I was giving him a few choice songs, but stuff like that. And then he then becomes my manager at Kilmarnock, and then we talk about these days, and remember that time I nutmegged you and whipped it in, and Coisty scored that at Parkhead, and I can't remember that, he says. It was just some great banter, but players were great. Wee Mo would be getting it big time as well. Midley Park, Granty was going about, Peter the Pointer and all that, he was giving it all that. Wee Fergie Durant would be nipping at him, and the crack would be great. And Coop used to stand at the back of the centre circle with the jungle in his back, giving it all sorts of obscenities behind his back, and nobody's seen it but me. I was playing right back, Coop was playing wide, and he was giving a few vickies to the jungle. And at that time they were trying to get out, because that was enclosed at that time.
I remember it,
So Coop used to storm right to the touchline, get away with it, because the linesman wouldn't see it, the manager wouldn't, the referee wouldn't see it, and Coop was brilliant at it. Stuff like that was tremendous.
It's certainly a great era. That's when I started going to see Rangers in the days, and nobody seemed to be offended on the park, off the park. It was a man's game, the tackles were rough. Do you miss that? Do you think it's changed a lot since then?
I think it changes when money dictates on the politics of the game, and I think it's a pity, because you will never take away the traditions of Glasgow Rangers or Glasgow Celtic. That will never die, Si. It doesn't matter what they say, political correctness, and you can't sing this and you can't sing that. For me, there's nothing wrong with banter and going to your work on a Monday morning and you take a ribbon about if your team's won or lost. We'll never take that out of the Celtic fans, and we'll never take that out of the Rangers fans. And it's lasted us all these years. And really, I'll probably have a pop at people who have never played football, i.e. guys that maybe are on the radio that think I've got this opinion, and because they've got this, probably no talent I would say, but their authority that thousands and thousands of people listen to them. You have to laugh at them sometimes, and they'll do this and you can do this and you can do that. Who did they play for? That's where I think's wrong. And I think the game in general, maybe getting off the scene a wee bit, but is wrong because there's not enough people like myself who played at a good level involved and coaching. It's people that's hardly ever played who are trying to bring kids through and learn people stuff that they were never taught that to start with, so how can they teach it?
Yeah, I mean the other thing is that they suggest that the players on the park are offended with the chanting and the singing and all that, but I don't believe that for a minute.
Listen, when you've got guys like Alan McCoist and Ian Durant about your club, nobody's going to be offended with anything, and I'm talking about the guys that are at the top of the tree here. So I don't believe that for 1 minute. There is nothing wrong with guys paying their money and being able to sing what they want to sing. If you think about it, all the years Rangers fans have sung what they wanted to sing, and Celtic fans have sung what they wanted to sing, and it's never done them any harm. Okay, aye, that divide will always be there, but you know, life goes on, Si. The game's finished at 4:45 on a Saturday night. Get on with it and let's worry about the next game. There's too much sectarian this, sectarian that, sectarian this, sectarian that, and it's probably the press and the media.
It's a vote winner as well.
Yeah, exactly. They love talking about it because you know they escalate it. As far as I'm concerned, it's bigger than what it actually is.
Well, you would put that in comparison when Liverpool play Man United. There's a lot of hate shown there.
Hey, without a doubt, absolutely. See some of these games down south. And you watch the Barcelona fans or Real Madrid fans. You know, and the racist thing, I've seen the wee lad for Real Madrid getting pelters last week off the Barca fans, the wee left back, getting slaughtered with the racist thing.
Apparently that's different.
I've not read about that. I've not read about that. And the Rangers fans can't go and sing their songs in Europe, but the Barcelona fans can give the Real Madrid left back, you know, racist comments and all that. So it's a bit unfair.
So back to the football. Anyway, can you remember your debut? Rangers versus Hibs at Easter Road. Rangers won 2-0.
I think it might have been kind of New Year's Day type when it was run about that time. I'm sure it was run about it. Bobby Williamson I think scored. I think I'm right in saying that. 17-year-old, run about that age, getting the call, you're in the first team squad, and it was just an unbelievable experience. It's unique for a kid to be given brought into the club, coached by the right people, and then given your chance to play in the first team, especially when it's a club that you want to play for and the club that you would die for, and then to be actually running on that part with that crest on was just the best experience I'll ever have in my life.
So you go from being a young lad running about the loyal streets of Lark Hall to playing for the famous Glasgow Rangers. How did the locals take to that?
Great. Hey, listen, local hero, could I get away with anything? Never great at school, studies were rubbish because I always wanted to be a football player. Always kind of thought I had a wee bit of belief in my ability to do it. And I think even the teachers at Lark Hall thought I couldn't leave school quick enough to get rid of me anyway, because I was a nuisance and I just wanted to train and play. But great, and it must have been great for some of these teachers or not to see how I then progressed, because it's always good to, if you know somebody and you do well, you watch it that wee bit more, don't you? And a few of my teachers, you know, were always kind of, I think you'll do okay, because I was the only player at Lark Hall to represent my country at under 15 schoolboy level. So I broke into the Lanarkshire team with Peter Grant and one or two other players, Big Willie Faulkner, we all played together, and then I made my Scotland debut against Wales at Linlithgow Roses Ground. Against Wales. Then we played Northern Ireland, I think, at Kilmarnock, and then we went to Old Trafford to play England. So that was a great learning curve for me as well, because it was Les Donaldson that was the under 15 manager, and then it was 16s with Andy Roxburgh. I tell you, it was 18s with Andy Roxburgh. So it was a kind of natural progression to go through those ranks. But to be in the first team at Ibrox as a young boy, still to be living in the town, because I was living with my parents at the time, was just fantastic. Never forget it.
So let's get to the meat of this interview. You're a young boy for Lark Hall, you're playing for the Glasgow Rangers, you're still in the local town, and everybody's going to ask you the same question, tell you the same thing. Rangers versus Celtic. What's your memories playing against Celtic?
Well, first and foremost, even on Old Firm days, I used to intentionally get myself up really early in the morning and go for a wee walk and try and calm myself down and all that. And it was probably, nerves weren't really a big factor, because when you're young you don't really you know, you're not as excited as you are when you're older. You worry about it more as you get older. No, my first game for Rangers against Celtic was actually the League Cup final that Coisty got a hat-trick, and we went to Turnberry, and I was just happy to be a part of the squad to go to Turnberry, far less. But I remember that year, because Pritzy was suspended or injured, Ian Redford was injured, and there was somebody else, so the gaffer had no option. It was really between myself and me, Derek Ferguson, who was going to be in the subs bench, and then it was only 2 subs, and he'd named the team at Turnberry, but I was happy just to be in Turnberry with the squad. And to get to Hampden, and he named his team again, and he says 12's McAdam and 14's Burns, was just, I can still hear it in my ears.
It was a fantastic game.
The way Big Jock came across, 2-0 up, 1-0 up when I went on to play the Midley Park, bang, 2-0 up Sandy Clark, 2-0 up when I went on, sorry. And then next thing, Celtic, surprise, 2 late goals, and then Jimmy Nick flips one into the box, Big Aitken pushes Coisty saves it, or Coisty hits it, Big Packy Boner saves it, and Coisty nets a rebound. League Cup final, thank you very much. 17-18-year-old, 70,000, 80,000 there, guys there, and shouting at the tennis that I went to school, the Lark Hall bus, you could notice them all.
The Rangers support that day was absolutely fantastic. I've still got the video in the house.
Really?
The Rangers support's fantastic. It's a famous game. I don't know if you'd have noticed it when you were on the park, but there's a massive section of the Celtic support that they sold out that day.
Really?
So Rangers had oversold basically.
Celtic hadn't.
So the Rangers fans, they weren't on the park and off the park. But I also remember Big John Wallace afterwards in his famous interview. I take it after the game, the celebration would have been good.
Well, was that the one he just slaughtered the young reporter? The young reporter was trying to ask him all sorts of questions, and Big Joe used a few choice words to get the reporter out the road to get in the dressing room to obviously celebrate. And we kind of piped up, and I forget, we were sitting in the bath at the end of the game, and you know, we did all our stuff, and Coisty, being being as tight as a drum, I think he still gets his first wage packet anyway. He says to Big Peter McCloy, what's the bonus today, gaffer? So Big Peter had to pipe up and ask the boss what the bonus was that day, because everybody else is feared to ask him. We weren't even bothered what the bonus was.
Aye. We
had beat the Celtic, we'd had a League Cup final badge, and I was, you know, I looked around and, well, it was quite an inexperienced team as well, you know, because David McPherson, Ali Dawson played in the team, Big Peter in goals, Bobby Russell, Coop. It was kind of half and half, a lot of young boys and along with experienced players, but for then, you just couldn't see yourself, and I never thought I would see myself. I just thought there's going to be plenty more of this and a lot of it here.
So one of the great Old Firm games of that time that you played in was the famous 4-4 game against Celtic at Ibrox. Can you remember the game? Have you dried out yet? It was soaking wet.
Yeah, I had heard in the day's size, so I actually had streaks and a curly pair combined into one, so that was a vivid memory of that game. That was a joke for a start. We're 2-0 down, we're getting absolutely slaughtered at home. Maurice Johnson scored to put Celtic 2 up. I can't remember who scored the first goal, but I think he scored. And we just knew we were getting off Big Joe, because Big Joe used to wait on us going in the dressing room and hit us on the back of the head if things weren't going right anyway, so I knew that was coming. And but you know, Big Joe was Big Joe, and I remember the next day we slid into Ted McMahon just before the half time, and we got a goal back, so I think we went in 2-1 at half time and came out and talked about TBL and Tam Burns. Tam gets the ball, and you know, it's like he dipped his shoulders and he mazy runs and bang bang bang, Tam scored right in front of Celtic and 3-1. I'm like, no way. And before we knew it, Flecky scored, Cammy Fraser scored, I think Big Slim scored, I think McPherson there scored. Anyway, we're up 4-3 and we think we've done enough, and then me Murdoch comes out with one of these pile drivers and threw Big Nicky, who to this day should have had the big short breed fingers, Big Walker short breed. He should have had it right, so we gave him a bit of stick about that. But 4 each, what a game. Great advert for Scottish football, sing all their songs, happy days, peeing wet, great day, can't forget it.